Philosophical discussion of the artist's hive mind, why it's so important and what we aim to do around this concept. Okay, so in the previous one we just covered the rational reason why, and so it's so important for us to not just talk about art in a commercial way but in a way that is really needed, and how it will help us, and also how that could be turned into a highly profitable monetary way, because it's very fundamental to art and its existence and its meaning and value. But it needs to be started by those who are very conscious about it. Okay, now simply like going on a philosophical way, like as we all know that we are ultimately all connected, and we are simply consciousness experiencing itself through multiple separate beings. Okay, but because of the certain circumstances and lack of conversation or dialogues around philosophy, where art meets spirituality and thinking, all of it, often even we people like the artists who come, one of the purest, who have this conscience of unity and belongingness, have to think through very evil and fishy eyes, so that's like, I wouldn't say money is wrong, but when you only chase that, it sabotages your entire system, right? Like, yeah, like artists are trying their best, but often when you see people online, they are so much like, I do not mean anyone in particular, like we are so much engrossed into the commercial aspect of it, because we definitely genuinely need it, and they should be doing that. Okay, but what eventually happens is that like, yeah, you do have substance, but your substance does not really hit the soul, or that ultimately that, yeah, that art hits differently, which is grounded into the right value system. You can clearly make it out by the art that, yeah, it is coming from a more fundamental and sound space. Okay, so I started to really look into a lot of like a history about how art was approached, how artists used to approach it, and there are a lot of good conversations to happen here, and we can definitely discuss, and how we can discuss how we can optimize this life, where when you start to align your values into this system, automatically money starts to follow and align itself, because you're living according to the natural pattern that the universe has designed you for. So we can definitely look into it. There's an entire philosophy of how a color, which artists were called earlier, approaches, where they lose themselves into the medium. And I have some really good friends who lose themselves here, and I think you are also a very good example there, very very good one, where you can see the medium is the one which is speaking more than the artist themselves, and the artist then really gets to show people that, see, my art has the element of the universe or the divinity in it. Okay, more importantly, when my life has taught that, where like you approach things first like a child, like with intuition, without having to much worry about skill and everything, what you really get to add, that extra ingredient that gets added, which is like the foundation of your art, is something that makes it really stand out in a very collective manner. As you can see, like what this indicates, these symbols, these are simply like multiple humans on a cosmic phase. So what I'm trying to say is that when you're connected to the collective conscious universe, god and all, so it requires us to be conscious, right? Like we have to be together, and when we do this, right now, which often we don't, and each artist wants to pursue their own thing in solitude and all, but that's not how it used to be before. Solitude was important, but more important was that you are also together discussing these experiences, because ultimately you all are tied to that same collective conscious. So right now people think the solo way is the better way, but when you conscious and together and really discussing about these fundamental things, about your artistic process, the nuances and details of it, you actually achieve success faster and better. We often think, no, if we do not strategize the money first strategy, then you're not going to just grow. But often when you start to provide value, because ultimately people come for the value, and we're looking at the primary value here, which even artists need, anyone needs, which just helps us be better as, more introspective and self-aware. So yeah, this current method of just primarily running behind, which we have to do often, is that our method that helps you directly earn. It looks easy, but it is actually quite tough. We know it takes a lot of run to and fro. It takes a lot of pretense. It takes a lot of playing the game of the physical world. But when you look at it from a collective way, which again I think you are a good example, and I wouldn't say that we all are the perfect examples, but we are trying our best. But yeah, when you look at it in a way where my art also accommodates growth, and it also has a collective energy, or the thought process of it, right? You hit it in a very different way, it's like a true easy and intuitive way which journey gets easier, so again it comes back to the same explanation, where you have a space where we are no more just discussing art as art or art for commercials and all. We're also discussing art where it fuses into the fundamental way how the universe works and how and what important our role is into it. Okay, so it is by the activated or the people who understand the beauty and the importance of this value systems, people who run by value systems and not primarily by money, extremely important to it to be coordinated by them. And it's by those people who do feel this need, is that when you just chase the material and the physical world, you will achieve success, but to some extent. But you also mix the other part, which usually involves community and being together, being united, and all. It starts to do wonders. So that is a thing. It's like a collective space that is for artists and even humans, because that inner artist is active. Like it's like wanting to be active in everyone, and right strategies and how to approach it will be the next part of discussion. But this is like the thinking behind it. So I simply call it the artist's hive mind.